End of a new beginning. You should have said, what Victoria 2 mod is this? That's what you should have said. Now, speaking of should I play on Elite difficulty? Probably. Oh wow, you can strengthen everyone. Holy shit. Well, just to be sure, I'll give a tiny little point to a few people. Because why the hell not? Damn, you can literally strengthen, like, every country there is. Strengthen the DDR. Well, look, Ottoman Empire's tip going into Europe's poop chute. Yeah, well. I mean. Hey, Ian. How was the evening? Strengthen the French Empire. Germany. That only applies to Germany. Does that apply to Prussia? For the love of God, no elite. Now, it's actually relatively okay in this mod because you actually get political power. Like, there is a political power income in this mod, which I know, ridiculous. It does slow down the game. Maybe veteran should be better. Yeah, let's do veteran. No, I will not make Prussia super strong because it is that way already, most likely. It's like, I mean, come on. Is Prussia ever going to not be overpowered in these kinds of mods? Pfft, probably not. So, might as well keep them that way. Okay, let's get the chat. Oh God. Hey, sad overused meme. I saw that you actually followed me like yesterday or something. So happy to see you. Colonize more of Africa. I bet the African countries are really weak. Yeah, we're gonna look at that. Hello, Marco Polo. Ciao. Buongiorno. Hey, Psycho. Anyway, first order of business is gonna be to take over all of Italy, and to do that, need to. Oh yeah, right. This mod, it requires you to not use NATO symbols because they're bloody terrible. Okay. National focuses, ships. $11 of them. Rifles. And uniforms. Because, obviously, uniforms. Now, civilian factories take bloody forever to build in this. Perhaps we should just do a textile mill. Yeah, there we go. So that we get the fabric. Because everyone's going to need that. Very good. In terms of research, well... yeah. We're going to take some of the ones that decrease research time, but mostly focus on attack because, you know, we're going to fight early. So, yeah, here we go. And we're ready. We're ready for a start. What decisions do we have? Options menu. No need to do that. Why no NATO? What? What do you mean no NATO? This is 100 years before NATO existed. Oh, NATO counters. Yeah, it doesn't really work well with the graphics of this mod, so yeah. So you just have to use, like, because if I were to turn on NATO counters, it would be very, very difficult to see, like, what units were what. And also, there's going to be a lot of different templates flying around, so having the symbols is just easier. If the Ottomans took Serbia, my first comment will make more sense. No, but see, the Ottomans do have Serbia. Serbia's still a puppet, as is Bosnia. It's going to be a while before that isn't the case. Could you take Parma first, is where my family are from. Well, I'm actually from next over here. And no, we're not going to, like, take over any of these people first because events are going to annex all of them. So, yeah. Wait, does Serbia exist? Yes, Serbia does exist. Also, happy to see people from Parma, you know? Yeah, you obviously meant Bosnia, but, like, that's also a puppet. Oh, the Nyen Rebellion is already dead. Rip. There's actually the Boer War. Wait, hold on. South African these are also Boers. What kind of war is this? It's the Republican Free War. Okay, sure. Shit, my comments backfired. Yeah, they did, but I mean, any comment about, like, Serbia, Bosnia, or just the Balkans in general is always going to backfire. So yeah. Anyway, the Sardinia Piedmont. Okay, so a number of events promoted Piedmont's prestige in Italy and abroad. In March 1854, France and England intervened in support of the Ottoman Empire against Russia in the Crimean War. To obtain Austrian support, they were prepared to guarantee the status quo in Italy. Only Piedmont was in a position to disrupt it at the time, and Cavour, who is our leader, Camillo Benso Conte di Cavour, yeah, the Boer War is supposed to be much later. This guy is pretty much one of the reasons why Italy was able to reunify, because he was pretty good. Yeah, Africa is a mess, and your family's from Napoli and Sicily. Yeah, so the two Sicilies right now. Hey, Suarez, Da Silva, Marcelo Enrique. I'm American. Well, yeah, obviously. Lots of people, obviously, over here are from over here, which is, well, like, you know, ethnically. Which is great, because, you know, Italy's strong. When you take Lombardia from Austria, you need to take Venezia too. Yeah, see, the event forces you to not to, but you can take it over later, obviously. And some African colonies in the future, yes, that will be a thing that we do. In May, he sent to Crimea an army that performed brilliantly. As a result, Piedmont was able to assume a place among the victors at the Congress of Paris, February 1856. From this platform, Cavour, achieving a diplomatic coup for Piedmont in Italy, declared that the only threat to peace in Italy and the root cause of the subversive plots was the burdensome Austrian overlordship. Cavour's pronouncements at the Congress increased the standing of Piedmont among nationalists. Yeah. That's pretty great. Camillo is thick. Yes, he is thick. He is very, very thick. And the Austrians, they are not thick. Family comes from Ireland and England. Yeah. I mean, everyone loves the Irish, right? They do have... It's called Free Ireland, apparently. Wonder if you can... Yeah, see, the United Kingdom is kind of buggy in this, so yeah, we're not gonna care about that. And there's a free white peace between South African Republic and the Orange Free State. Yeah, the Boer War is supposed to be happening a little bit later, but, you know, whatever. Pastiglia Leone. Oh, I've tried a few of these. They're a really interesting taste. They're not bad. Like, they're not popular anymore. But yeah, it's like something relatively old-fashioned, I'd say. In the town of Alba, Luigi Leone has founded a candy company under the name Pastiglia Leone. Prime Minister Cavour has taken a special liking to the company's products and has eaten them while giving speeches. Issue a royal warrant of appointment. Well, that's good. Everyone loves Ireland. Bloody Sunday intensifies. Aw. I mean, everyone in that case does not include Britain. Obviously. Spain and Central America for me. Oh yeah. The Kingdom of Spain. Do they even have a focus tree? No, they do not. Yeah, fuck up those natives, America. Obviously. Yeah, this is a bug. They always puppet these two things. Oh, maybe it's not a bug, but I don't like it. Because two Perus, I don't like there being two Perus, so I just annex them in every time. Communist Italy. Nah, but I mean, like, you cannot be communist yet. Oh, unless you somehow, as the Duchy of Tuscany, like, I don't know, if, like, Piedmont does not annex you, you can be the Duchy of Tuscany, and you can take the second constitution, and then the elections of 1860, and you can go left, and that's going to turn you into social egalitarian, aka basically early communism. So yeah, that shit's quite good, obviously. Risorgimento. Yeah, we're going to need to ask for help from the worst monarch in history, Napoleon III. Who's got problems with the aftermath of the Crimean War. Yeah, the British in India and the Chinese are fighting it out, and they're the only people fighting. My man Hong Xiuquan is probably going to lose, unfortunately. Glorious Taiping, Heavenly Kingdom. Communists eat your Rice Krispie treats, cookies, and cream. What do? You call MacArthur. Hey, Napoleon III, please help us. Kinda sucks that this mod does not include the Crimean War. Well, I mean, I'm actually not that sad because the Crimean War is not something that you'd really have that much fun with in, like, Hearts of Iron 4. Because it was a fairly limited ordeal, you know? Like, it's not the kind of war that Hearts of Iron 4 is good at portraying, really. So I don't think it would really work out that well. Oh. This war, on the other hand, is always interesting. The Russians in the Caucasus. Now, that's an interesting topic that you could talk to, you know, quite great lengths about. Look at those Caucasian Muslimos. Apparently they're Shiite, which is quite interesting. And whoa, 43. That's a lot of viewers. Is that all from YouTube? Or is it some from Twitch as well? Mostly from YouTube. Okay, well, that's great. Happy to see you all coming here. Actually, at this point, I should probably just get the fog of war off so we can see what's going on. Russia isn't thick enough. A bowl of oatmeal is way thicker. I actually ate some oatmeal this morning. It was better than I expected. How are you going to manage this playthrough from 1850 to 2050? We're not. That is the That is the thing. We're just gonna play, you know, like 10 or 20 years maybe, who knows, depending on how much fun I'm having in the later stages. I'll definitely play long enough to unify Italy, you know, completely, which is to say, here they do not, Trieste is not our core over here, but, you know, we all know the extent of true Italy is like a little bit further on, so we're gonna have to defeat at least Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire, and Greece, because fuck Greece, and Libya, and Abyssinia, and probably, hopefully, Egypt and Tunisia to make true Italy, but, you know, definitely at least just the basic unification, which is to say this, plus the territories in Italia Redenta, as they call it, aka unsurrendered Italy. Check Japan if the Hirohito anime god is there. No, it's Tokugawa Ieyasu. So it's the shogunate still, and the events over here do not have like pictures or localization, but I believe at some point you're gonna have the Meiji Restoration, and you know, some kind of based Imperial Japan will rise up. In the meantime, the only base that we will have in Asia is Taiping Tianguo over here. But they're likely to not win, which is very sad. Invade Africa now. Nah, that wouldn't be the best idea ever now, would it? Well, actually, we could just randomly invade like Morocco. Oh, crap. Like, how many dudes do you have? Hi, Pav2. See, okay, we cannot invade people here because these are all Ottomans, and so it would be too long of a war to fight. We could, however, like, invade Morocco. Novus Romus Imperialist. Nah, but see, like, we're not gonna do that just because... he's French. Haha, he's French. But, yeah, we will not do that now just for the sake of, like, challenge later. Corsica. Yeah, Corsica is Italian. Huang, but, like... it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to destroy France. We might still be able to do it later on, but not right now. France is a little bit too strong for us at this point. Taiping Heavenly Kingdom has been annexed. Well, that's sad. But yeah, look at the based Caucasians go. Like, I've seen that they really, really heavily screw with Russia. They don't even have, like... no, they don't even have, like, good templates. They're just strong. They are just very strong. And the Russians seem to be very fond of attacking into mountains, which is never that great. The Caucasians do eventually lose, but they do cause a lot of problems for Russia in the meantime. Oh, we could legalize child labor. That would be such a great idea. That would increase like construction speed and stuff. Decrease monthly population, political power. Nah, probably not. Probably should not be doing it. What should we actually be going for? I think high taxes are like such a great idea in this mod. They're really good. But maybe first we take a... ooh. Meet my very good friend, Bigus Dickus. Oh, wow. So great. Legislative power gain plus 5%. I can see that Russia has problems in the Caucasus. Yeah, Chechnya. I mean, this is the beginning of that. It ends with Chechnya, but it begins with this. Russia really did kind of screw themselves over. So +5 should be 2 plus 20 plus... Oh my god, that's a lot of modifiers. But yeah, no, like, we're waiting until we can get high taxes because they're OP. They are really OP. Fine. Time to do this. I guess we could also, like, get a rifle manufactory. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good idea to start off with. And, oh crap. A theorist! I'm an idiot. A theorist and land doctrines. They're always pretty good. What year does this game end? Well, it doesn't technically end until 2050, but that's bullshit. It does end at about the time of the 1860s, late. So that's about that. Okay, so when will you start the war with Greece? Later on. We'll see later on what we can do about that. The Piedmontese stand united. Our country is recently experiencing a period of peace and prosperity, and our people stand united under our flag. We should use this opportunity to improve our relations. Nah, that's bullshit. Let's get some legislative power. Thank you. So now we can get the theorist. France agrees. The French have agreed to our request to aid us in the unification of Italy for the transfer of Savoy. This might be the beginning of a new friendship between our nations. Yeah, that's great. So that's gonna later on give us the event for the Plombier meeting, which is relatively important. I too hate when those things fall apart. The Congo declared war on the Congo. That's a weird civil war that I always see, but I just never understand what the hell happens and why. They have the same leader portrait. They both have Portuguese names, and they both cannot kill each other because they're just too weak. First Pedro V loyalists. What the fuck? Pedro, what are you doing? And they're both Catholic, by the way. Like, both of these Congos are Catholic, which is kind of derpy. And, yeah. Anyway, I should probably disable the fog. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, the Russians are getting kind of exhausted against these people. Wait, there's a country here. Oh, it's an Ottoman puppet. Samos. My face when people think Boogie 2988 didn't unite Italy. I actually do not know who Boogie 2988 is. So yeah. So that's that. That's my verdict on that. I have no idea who the guy is. Oh. Are the Sepoys actually winning? If puppeted Jammu and Kashmir and the Karpufala state. Oh no, they're puppet... No, okay, yeah, they're puppets of the Sepoy rebellious states. They actually have like a chance of winning? That would be hilarious. I mean, they don't have that many regiments, do they? Like, the British probably just have more. And they're at war with the United Kingdom itself, so, yeah. Samoa Lamau. Nah, it's Samos. It's Samus. Samoa. much wood are we? Hey, thanks to Sotase. Thank you very much. Okay, that should keep us occupied for a while in terms of buildings. Yeah, the one problem, as I've said in my video about the mod, my mod spotlight, is that this mod is just so incredibly slow. Like, it's gonna take a while for us to be able to do anything. So I guess I should invade Morocco. You know, Agadir... Actually, no, I cannot invade Morocco because I cannot naval invasion. Right? When can I naval invasion? Okay, I just need to research transports. Okay. Corfu is rightful Italian land. Yes, obviously, but Corfu is bloody British, so... Corfu, for now, is staying in the British Empire. Because we cannot fight the British Empire. Europe is rightful Italian land. Well, obviously. There we go. Getting everyone in here, and now it's time to exercise. You imagine wanting French land. See you, War Master. It's not France, it's Gaul. Yes, obviously. How's the New World in this mod? Well, what a great time to look at that. Because the New World generally tends to explode a lot. The Americans still haven't finished, you know, cleaning up all the reservations and stuff. They do get to do that eventually. They have the American Civil War in, obviously, a little bit. Still stinky as shit and full of assholes. That's a little bit extreme, but yeah, it is. Hashtag big Bulgaria. Yeah, there's no Bulgaria right now. And I'm pretty sure no one's complaining. XD. Especially not the Romanians. Then there's Argentina, which still has to basically unite everything. Wow, what the hell is that? That is an interesting portrait. Paraguay is still, you know, very derpy. Paraguay strong. Bolivia still has a coastline, which I believe might not, like, last forever, because maybe there's an event for Chile to take it over. Brazil is still an empire. Gran Colombia is not a thing. UPCA is not a thing, because they've already all fallen apart. And some of these countries are very, very nasty people. The Panama Canal. Panama Canal is currently unusable because it is neither not built yet or destroyed. Okay, good. So it works. Very good. And it should be the same for Suez, right? Suez Canal is currently unusable. Very good. And what about Kiel? The Kiel Canal is unusable. Okay, very good. So those projects, I believe there's a way to do them. I just do not know what that way is. I know the way. I know the way, man. Ooh, we can avoid doing that lumber mill. Because we get wood from here. That's great. Paraguay's leader is extra thick. Yeah, Solano over here. Sorry, no. Carlos Antonio Lopez, whose friend, or like, I don't remember exactly what kind of relations he has, but Solano Antonio Lopez or something. I just remember Solano, and yeah, it's still thick. Camillo Cavour. Yes. It's neither Camillo Benso Conte di Cavour nor just Cavour. It's Camillo Cavour. Yeah, I mean, for those who do not know, the one on the right side is the title. Essentially, like, the place he was a count of. And the first is the name. So these two should really not be going together. What should be the name, the full name, is Camillo Benso. Benso is his second name. Or just Cavour, because everyone calls him Cavour, because, I don't know. That's what people did back then. They called people by their title, and, you know. Napoleon III attacked with a bomb. How will the French Empire react? That's the Orsini affair. Italian anarchist. Sorry, no, not that. It's still the Orsini affair, but I believe, yeah, it was some kind of, like, Italian anarchist trying to bomb Napoleon III, which is pretty much par for the course with, you know, 19th century European history. Generally, Italians tended to want to bomb people a lot. So, yeah. And eventually we're going to get the Plombier meeting, which should be in, like, about a year or so-ish. Don't remember my exact dates. Yeah, whatever, you and your full names. People back then had a lot of names, and it was scary. Yeah, about to get those exports to America. Should increase my civilian factories by 1, which is like, oh my god, so much increase in civilian factories. That's ridiculous. Ah, e comunque Tenia intestinale, ottimo nome. Maledizione. Tenia intestinale, chi l'avrebbe mai detto? Mechanical engineering, process engineer. Okay, like all these engineering. So there's mechanical engineering, which is, hey, see you soite sei? Go get blitzed. Yeah, mechanical engineering seems like it's pretty useful. Wikipedia is your friend. Well, yeah, obviously. I don't think anyone's gonna believe you if you told me, like, oh yeah, I know that by heart. I don't think anyone would believe you. Is there a possibility for Austria to form Germany? Ah, that's something I didn't think about. Will that switch me to Australia? Okay, no, it switched me to Austria. Very good. It doesn't seem like it. You can convert to Protestantism, though. Es ist mein Wille. Franz Joseph I has long planned to demolish some parts of Old Vienna. Develop the Austrian homeland. So yeah, they do have some economic decisions, but it doesn't seem like they can unite Germany. And their focus tree is very much work in progress. So yeah. No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Gilra, who posted the full bloody name. Maledizione, tutti sti italiani. Da dove cazzo spuntate? Da notare la seconda persona plurale, anche se teoricamente anch'io sono italiano. Is there a possibility for Australia to form Germany? Yes, obviously. Even though Australia still isn't around yet. Ooh, gold rush. Unexplored regions. Suppression of the aboriginal tribes, because of course. Effects of the Eureka Stockade. Wasn't that weird? Western Australia doesn't even have a name. How great. The last prison ships. A legacy of a penal colony is coming to a close. Oh wait, that's great. Though seems like he has removed that, although he has the generic focus tree. Which home state? One of the Australian ones? Oh, look, South Australia, so great. Oh, you mean probably Western Australia, do you? Dalle fottute pareti. Sì, ovviamente. Proprio così. Yeah, WA. How many languages do you speak? 4. I speak my glorious native Italian, English, obviously, and a couple secret ones, which you will probably find out if some people join the chat. XD. Oh, hey, look. The Russians are still having problems. So yeah, it's a bit like the last time I played, where the Russians just really are incompetent. They've lost 179,000 people already to the Caucasians. That's evil. Yes, Przemyslav. Australia-Hungary is best. Australia-Hungary. And the East India Company is back in control. Good for them. Good job, East India Company. Oh, wow, they took Hyderabad. They don't always do that. Wow. They took Hyderabad. French and simplified Korean. Ciao. Tutto bene? No, I do not Romanian. I'm sorry. Like, I guess I can kind of read it. Yeah, I mean, you know that, obviously, Marco Polo, so, yeah. Enfield rifle. What do we need to research that? Breech loading mechanism. Oh, okay, this one. That's pretty cool. Get those rifles working. Tokugawa Shogunate. I wonder what, like, Rise of the Emperor. Support Shishi. Voce fala português. No Portuguese, but Portuguese are pretty funny. Meiji Restoration is quite far down there with these 70-day focuses. You'd have to play like 20 years to reach down there. Well, maybe not 20 years, but a long time. Sì, quelli del Congo lì prima erano letteralmente dei cugini. Lo sono ancora, d'altronde. Non credo che si uccideranno cioè, a vicenda. Anche se... Lui non so perché, ma fa più schifo, ma vabbè. Peasant Latin. Well, I mean, I can kind of read it because it's very similar to Italian. Yeah, I studied them in college. Or university for us Italian people. Yeah, because Romanian is just... It's Italian, a little bit different, with a little bit of Latin. It's actually kind of interesting because Romanian is one of the languages in the world that is the most similar to Latin. Like, as a whole. So it's, you know, it's true to the origins. Bro. Is there Monaco? No, there's no Oh! Yeah, there is. It's part of us, though. How cool. Sì, ma perché comunque... Secondo me si confondono questi due furboni. Oh man. Still waiting so that we can increase taxes, XD, or I guess we should take conscription. Hey, Mega Mustafa. Сука, пиздец, блять. Гунтер Кауфман, как всегда. Начинается с матами. Sardinian. Yeah, but like, no one ever remembers Sardinian. Poor old Sardinian. Yeah, obviously you're originally Latin. Only subsequently you were surrounded by Slavs. Everyone loves Slavs. Right, I completely am forgetting about the fact that I should be researching naval landings. Because our war with Austria still is going to take a bit. So we might just invade Morocco in the meantime. Let's go. Speaking of that, do you have... Oh, that's very unfortunate. Oh, look, there's a ship named Aurora. Hahaha, Aurora, best ship ever. Anyway, now we take naval invasions. Those are pretty good. I heard naval invasions are useful. Well, there are some people that think that Portuguese and Spanish are the same language, so yes. На какой связь? С чатом? Конечно, мой чат. Самый хороший в мире. How long is it gonna take? 230. Oh, that's not very long. I sure hope that you just get all the factories before then, because that would be useful. How many factories do you have, actually? Pretty pathetic. We even have an admiral. How great. Hey, Spectre. Please liberate Czechoslovakia. I'm not even sure... Yeah, they don't even have cores here, so I cannot do that on my own. Maybe there's events to do that. That would be pretty good. I'm pretty sure, like, the tag is somewhere in the game, at least for Czechia. Like, I'm pretty sure the tags exist, it's just that they don't have cores right now, so yeah, that's really sad. You have 4 to 6 divisions. Can you look at the flag of French Algeria? Yes, of course I can. What's that? We're going to liberate Italy justifies on Morocco. Well, yeah, do you not know what Mare Nostrum means? Is your fan base all Maoists now? It always was. Это чат национализированный. Now, okay, let's calculate. I should have been justifying earlier on. Honestly, this isn't that... Yeah, whatever. So, 180 days. That means 6 months. That means that in... July is 7... Okay, so in January, I should have the justification ready. And the War of Austria is not going to happen until... Well, mid-59. Time to de-Sovietize the chat. Jesus Christ. Maybe the internet Nazis were right about plastic pasta boy. Aw. Yes, there we go, the Plombier meeting. That's pretty important. Austrian influence must be removed from the Italian peninsula no matter the cost. Italy cannot be truly reunified unless steps are taken to ensure freedom from the meddling Austrians. Luckily, Napoleon III of France shares with us a common enemy. We should send Count Cavour to meet with him, but none must know of this, because we are Italians, we are smart people. We will disguise the trip as a mere vacation to Switzerland, while Count Cavour will travel on to Plombières, where the French Emperor has agreed to meet with us. Together, the two leaders will plan an invasion of the Austrian-controlled part of our beautiful peninsula and drive out foreign influence. We are prepared to offer Napoleon Nice and Savoy in return for assistance. With French aid, soon we will be reunified. And here we go. So now we get the Plombières meeting done. It's going to take a while for these other branches to be unlocked. Yeah, Casus Belli. The first discussion in the meeting with France is how to begin our war without drawing in the other world powers. There are 3 casus bellis we have found to use against Austria. Their breaking of a trade agreement, Austrian troops in Bologna, and Francis of Modena not accepting Napoleon as leader of France. Now, okay, thank you very much. Now, just like a Vernon history class, Italian Morocco. Yes, obviously. Do the Middle Eastern states have cores? They don't seem to. Anyway, so here the casus belli, they're all the same, I think. But we're gonna take the Modena and Francis V because it's the historical one. Yeah, here we go. So now we can take start border operations, which gives us manpower. The political structure. The second topic at the meeting will be the political structure of post-war Italy. France has proposed an Italian kingdom in the north, led by our king Victor Emmanuel, this guy, a central papal state, and a Sicily in the south. All this will be under an Italian confederation led by the Pope, similar to the German confederation, which is, I believe, led by the Austrians, officially, because it's replacing the Holy Roman Empire. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Why are there so many free African states? It's our burn to civilize. Yeah. That ends up happening later on. We could propose a counteroffer so the deal is more on our side. The counteroffer is you cannot do it yet, but you can just accept, you know, the Italian Confederation and then backstab the Frenchies and say maintain control. So yeah, you can still do that, no problem. Middle East looks at African states. No, but like that's North Africa. Everyone bloody considers that the Middle East, but like here there's Syria. There's no Iraq. There's XD. Egypt has some extra cores. Over here, there might be some way to unite Arabia, I'm not sure. And Yemen... Yemen doesn't seem to have cores on the other little people down here. The Trucial States still exist because, of course, everyone knows that that's the greatest. And then there's the Qajar, Iran. Well, these people are still fighting. Anyway, the military plan. The next topic in our talks with France is the military plan. Our generals plan to have 160,000 troops split 50-50 with France. France has proposed that they send 300,000 troops to be joined by 100,000 of our troops, hoping to march straight to Vienna. Begin the military talks. Now, obviously, we do not want too many French troops because, you know, then they're just way too dominant in the peace deal. So we're gonna try to say our plan. Remember, no Russian. France refuses. Oh, well, okay. So, military plan, here we go. Zanzibari Empire and Tippu-Tip exist. Well, Zanzibar does exist, actually. It's the Sultanate of Zanzibar, but he is a dominion of Oman. So, yeah. Oman strong. Yep. Palestinian clay. Mombasa is a colony of Zanzibar. Okay, so there's like a... Interesting. There's like a bit of chain puppeting going on. There's, of course, Buganda, the greatest empire in the world. Wakanda forever. Because they're all people who do not Twitch, I guess. Also, France is about to give some civilization to Indochina, it seems. Gains puppet focus war against the Nyen dynasty. Oh, wow. How crazy. Royal marriage. Yeah, some things that we do not care about. Stop being racist, Woodstock. No, that will never happen. I am always racist against things like Americans. Hello, M7. Hello, hello, hello. Recruit nationalists, because of course. Italian nationalists will take up arms and join our army. Yes, of course. How great. You hope CSA S. Well, CSA, I'm not sure what you mean, but CSA soon is going to happen. Wakanda Day. Yes. It's Wakanda, the greatest country in the world. Racism. We need colonialism. Bring down those ugly African borders. Yeah, see, the thing is, I'm not even sure, like, the scramble for Africa is in, so... We'd have to literally justify on every one of these single tiny Africans, and probably it wouldn't be that great of an idea to do so. The racist pasta boy, obviously. Imperialism is needed, otherwise the division spam will destabilize the world and crash it. Perhaps, although, like... I believe these states do not exactly have a lot of population. Well, okay, not Sokoto, but Sokoto is something else. Like, a lot of these states don't really have population, and I don't think they really have, like, military factories and stuff. So, for a long time, they will not be problematic. Like, maybe at the end or something, they can, like, get a factory. They can get they can get a factory from their focus tree. So I don't know. Anyway, Italian nationalists, because of course. Imperialists just wanted to play on 5 speed. Yes, of course. I'm pretty sure he means the Confederates, considering it's 1858. So outside of England, there aren't really that many syndicalists around. Ooh, cavalry attack. That's not that bad. CSA is boring mainstream. Well, yeah, at this point it is, because a lot of you American Nazis seem to really like them. Deserta is the cool shit. What is deserta? I think you mean desert, right? I mean the Mormons. I'm pretty sure that's what you mean. Anyway, seems like the Nien dynasty is going to be destroyed. Okay, okay. Very good. Yeah, I mean, the Mormons are just, like, based, apparently. Yeah, France, give me units. Hey, look at those Italian nationalists. How scary. How scary must they be? Actually, I can put all of these troops under one command, but I'm gonna keep them separate, at least for now. Of course, I'm talking about good old Dixieland. I wonder if the Dixie song is copyrighted, but I am going to play it now because, you know, I feel like it's necessary right now. Not this one. This one. Is this a good version? Doesn't seem to be a song. Is this one gonna actually play? Hold on a second. You know, I have YouTube in the background because I'm streaming, so I might as well go ahead and get it from here. 50, yay! Be an American and remove Irish potato. If anyone of you have song requests XD, you can get them. You can get them in. If I see them, I will remember them. You know, he seems to have forgotten that reinforcements are a bit of a priority over that. Sardinia Piedmont. Yes, Sardinia Piedmont. Oh shit, actually, the bloody Frenchies are gonna get some factories over here. That's annoying. They're gonna get a lot of factories. What dicks? Even one naval dockyard. That's incredibly annoying. I am really pissed. The Frenchies are gonna get a lot of our production. I think it's because a few of these were spawned in there by, like, events. Now, this is off map. There's farms, but we do not care about those. Now, maybe it's the ones that we started off with. Play the British Grenadier song? Nah, that's boring as hell, come on. And come on, look at that! Savoy! What a piece of shit! He's gonna spawn the military factory exactly where I do not... Bielaya armia Chorny Baron. Snova gotovят нам царский трон. Ну а таги до британских морей. Красная армия всех сильней. See, all those songs are copyrighted, which is very sad. Hmm, 50 more days for this. Hey! Well, everyone say hi to the devs, I guess. Happy to see you here. Confederate commune when woke. Yeah. The Confederate communes of America. The Confederate Soviet Republics of America. I'm pretty sure, like, that was an I Sorrows production video at some point, which tells you exactly how smart and great that idea is. Destroy the factories. I could, to be honest. The thing is, right now they're still useful to us, but at some point I might as well just destroy them. Although, to be fair, maybe I still retain the cores on them, on the territories. So maybe at some point I could just take them back. Take a look at the Austrian focus tree. Yeah, the Austrian focus tree has some cool stuff in it, though it has some iconography issues still. There is the Manhattan Commune in the game. Really now? How will that happen? You mean like as an event or something? Are you a developer? Play Die Wacht am Rhein. Yeah, I can stand for that. I can stand for some Die Wacht am Rhein. Yeah, I know that Greece has a focus tree. It's kind of interesting, actually. Yeah. Old Kaiserreich vibes. How the fuck you can type that? Are Soviet songs copyrighted? Because the performances are, and the performances might have been made after 1991. And even if they're not copyrighted, sometimes they just get claimed anyway, and that's a really annoying thing. Yeah, damn you, capitalism. I will flee to the only place that has not been corrupted by capitalism. Space. Don't spoil it. The Austrian focus tree is complete, but you need to play in the branch. It is not merged. There is actually a bug with it. I'm gonna tell you right now. Earlier on when I tested this, I still won in Italy. Fucking bourgeoisie destroying everything. Yes, es braust ein Ruf wie Donnerhall. Es schwerget Trillung Vonenfall. Whatever the hell this is. Actually, like, it was obviously supposed to fire the disaster in Italy line. Because, you know, I won, but apparently it still didn't think that I owned Lombardy. So, yeah. They went down triumph in Italy. Which is, you know, like, it's kind of unlock decisions to reform our Italian holdings. Yeah, well, see, I didn't play through of it to see what was going to happen because, you know, I didn't have time, but yeah, that I feel like should be something that you should be aware of. The Ottomans do not have focus tree, at least not yet. Oh, okay, it's solved. Okay, that's good. Well, maybe it's solved now because I've downloaded the newest version, so who knows? Oh, great, great, great. That's fun to hear. Stabilize the nation. Does the Paris Commune exist in a mod? That would be great to know. Paris is a state, so it is possible. And there we go, we've got Casablanca. Right, I'm an idiot, actually. I could have been whatchamacallit. I could have been, doing whatever it is that I should be doing. There's actually a bit of an issue, though. He doesn't have any ports up here. His closest port is Casablanca. And our ships do not have the range to reach Casablanca. Because these ports up here are Spanish. So we're just gonna declare war on them at some point and ignore them. That's literally all that we're going to do. Is there a link to this mod's Discord somewhere? Yes. I'm not spoiling anything this time. Make Erdogan great again, obviously. So 15th of March. Yeah, like, because would we have the product, like, how long would it take for us to produce a naval base? Probably a long time now, would it? Naval base. Like, over here it would take months, over a year. So yeah. Paris Commune 2, Marxist Boogaloo. You have historical focuses on. It can affect some historical decision making. No, I do not have historical focuses on. So that might have had issues. I made lots of Germany stuff depending on historical mode. Ooh, that's problematic. Can you shut up? I wonder if you can switch by saving and then coming back in. I wonder if you can switch to historical mode. I am relatively sure that you can, although I've never really had the need to do that, so might be wrong. Oh yes, the YouTube gods are favoring me. This is a good music, good piece of song. I had actually completely forgotten that I was, you know, on those music. You can get Mazzini as the leader of Italy. Well, at least, like, from what I've seen in once you've unified Italy, there is a path where it's telling you that Mazzini is the leader, so I'm pretty sure you can. Although for some reason Mazzini is represented as a conservative, or at least it says it's a conservative. That's not how it works. Really? Do you say? Leave it off, you might get socialist Germany. Yeah, that's the whole idea. Like, you get weird stuff, you know? Oh, crap. Actually, I fucked up. Okay, whatever. Back to where we are. I guess we're leaving it on ahistorical. Oh, okay. It can lead to exciting stuff. Okay, good. So, see, I thought that it just broke things. But no, apparently it doesn't break everything. Apparently it's fine to leave it off. Very good. Yeah, the socialist Germany that they were talking about is... where is it? Yeah, over here. The rise of socialism. The king's abdication. Yes. Japanese music. Anyway, about half a year and we'll have the war with Les Austrians XD. You should stop teasing us and just check out Pedro. Yeah, here we are, Pedro II. Pretty nice fellow. He's got a big-ass focus tree. Hey, look at that. Support European immigration. Or start the interstate slave trade. Yeah, that's obviously, you know, Brazil's need for manpower after the slave trade had been halted, essentially. Because they were still relying on slavery all the way up to, like, 1880. Do you know that most Roman emperors come from modern-day Serbia? That sounds like Serbian nationalist talk to me. That really sounds like Serbian nationalist talk to me. Yeah, that explains why they were so shit. Yeah, you're talking about Illyria, obviously, but like Illyria is essentially like Yugoslavia-ish in terms of how big it is. The Roman Empire is Serbia. Yes, of course, of course. Now, what of these are good? This one is good. Oh, this one's good. Let's have some Battle Wuhan. Develop lumber mills. By the way, development team, what are your plans for China? Because you probably do not know, but I do enjoy a bit of China in my games. Actually, I haven't played in China in a long, long time. I guess I'm saving myself for the Kaiserreich China update, where I'm gonna probably play, you know, a lot in China. It's true, but back then it wasn't Slavic. Yeah, back then the Slavs were somewhere over here. We don't fucking know. It's kind of like the great part about the Slavs. Like, they just come from absolutely... Whoa, look at that! The Caucasian Emirate is going for Astrakhan. That's hilarious. Mi bili Rim! The Slavs. Kosovo is Serbia. Yeah, like... You know, up until like 650, and when the Byzantines first like kind of noticed that there were some people over here, and then the Avar invasions drove the Slavs southward into the Balkan Peninsula. We have a dev in China, check their focus tree. Yeah, the focus tree is really good. Really, really good. One thing that I would change, now obviously like this is just, you know, it's a little bit like, me telling people, quote-unquote, how to do their job, even though that's not really my job. Hey, in our Austria devs branch, Lombardy Venetia has a focus tree. You should check it up. Really now, because I'm using the latest GitHub, so yeah. Oh yeah, like you mean I should be downloading like all the different separate things? I haven't done that. I'm just using the master version. But yeah, I should be, you know, experimenting with the other ones as well. Yeah, the Slavs for like the early Middle Ages are basically like the sea people. They just fucking come in and ruin everything, but no one knows where the hell they came from. Well, I mean, there's some people that say that they are Thucydides. I don't even know how to call them in English. Like, essentially, over here there used to be a thing called Scythia, kind of like a nomadic kingdom. But they had, according to a Greek historian, they had, I think it was Herodotus, I think. They had like a society that was split between the people that farmed, the farmer Scythians, and the people that fought, the warrior Scythians. So obviously the farmers were not nomadic, whereas the warriors were, and they were horseback fighters, you know, much like the later Huns and stuff. But yeah, essentially, some people say that those like farmer Scythians were the ancestors of the Slavs, but like whatever. Yeah, the branches are just for developing certain regions, obviously. The chat is filled with Serbian nationalists. I mean, this is like, it's something about like people killing each other in history on the internet with a video game involved. So I'm pretty sure Serbian nationalists are going to be involved anyway. Weren't Slavs Asians? See, that's the thing. We do not bloody know. I mean, technically, like, every Indo-European originated somewhere over here-ish. Because, you know, the, like, experts kind of trace Indo-European back as originating somewhere around the Caucasus / southern eastern Ukraine / northern Anatolia. Which is the reason, one of the reasons why we're all called Caucasians, at least people over here. We're called Caucasians because, you know, we kind of came from here. And we murdered whatever was here, except for the Basques, who are the last remnants. And, yeah. Probably they're related from the Alans. Probably they're coming from the Volga. I mean, there's a lot of theories. But yeah, there's probably, like, probably everyone mostly came from here. Some went to India and Iran. Some went to Anatolia and became the Hittites, who later on were murdered. And then some obviously went into Europe. Some of them stayed here somewhere and became the Slavs, maybe. Some of them stayed here somewhere and became the Germanics. Then the Slavs, you know, pushed the Germanics in here. The Huns were pushing the Slavs in here. Then the Huns disappeared, who were pushing everyone in. Then a bunch of other people from over here came in, like the Bulgars and stuff, and pushed the Slavs definitively where they are now. Anyway, yeah, like the Qing Empire, going back to this, what I think is like the biggest issue in a way is that I think there should be a focus tree that's, at least a part of the focus tree that's like with the British. Now, what do I mean? The British, right now they're kind of bugged. They don't get out of their Sepoy Rebellion focus tree, but there should be a part of the focus tree that they can only complete at the beginning that is dealing with the Taiping Rebellion. Now, of course, right now the Taiping are already dead, so we do not see them. But like the Taiping were very, very important. And also, like, a lot of games where the Taiping Rebellion is around, that is including like Victoria and stuff, they always die, like, really quickly. Like, you start in, like, 1850, late something, and they die in, like, 1 or 2 years. Because a lot of pushing. Yeah, because, like, the game does not really know how to really simulate, you know, I guess, the kind of warfare that was going on, nor how strong the Taiping actually were. So I think that, like, the Taiping should be more important. There should be a part of the focus tree before you can access the self-strengthening movement, which was after the Taiping Rebellion. That should be about building the armed forces and the industry to fight the Taiping, and the foreign relations about the Arrow War, which obviously is something that they included, the Arrow Incident. And like, for example, some of these army focuses over here in a modern army, and even some of the industry ones, they're all things that were happening way before the self-strengthening movement. They were happening because they were fighting the Taiping, such as Western training officers, such as the famous Charles Chinese Gordon, who was employed essentially by Shanghai's like merchant community as a kind of mercenary. Before on, there was an even more mercenary that was fighting over here to keep the Taiping who were in Nanjing off from Shanghai. And then the Hui army is like the big one, which was formed by Li Hongzhang, who's gonna become very important in Chinese history later on, up until the 1890s, when he's basically the prime minister, even though there wasn't really a prime minister. And the Hui army was formed over here, well, was sent over here, but it was formed in, where is it? Anhui. Bloody hell, my Chinese geography is failing me. Where the bloody hell is Anhui? There we go. That's... Huh. Yeah, because Nanjing, okay, so it's supposed to be like here-ish. So it was formed from essentially troops, like officers and men from here, but it was formed to fight the people that were here, aka the Taiping. But you know, getting sidetracked. So yeah, that's what I would do in terms of gameplay and like historical flavor, because the Taiping aren't as important in the mod as they should be. Obviously, like, all this is a work in progress, so, you know, we cannot, like, I cannot criticize it too much because, hey, I can't code, so I'm not gonna berate people who do too much unless they develop black ice, in which case, yeah, I'm gonna, yeah. That aside, you should check out Peru. Fuerza y Gloria. Yeah, they get the like tiny focus tree to fight their rebellion, which is what I think China should have. And then going down here, they have some cool stuff. Evade paying our debts. It was an accident. Yeah, they have that diplomatic crisis that I read about, but I don't remember exactly what it is. You should check Korea. Korea is really good. Korea is actually pretty good. Now, obviously, it's still work in progress because, like, for example, there's no real reason to just take some of these things because all that they do is they kind of destroy you without really giving you many bonuses. Although, maybe there's, like, some hidden... No, I obviously, I can criticize it. It's just I'm not going to make... Yeah, I'm going to make it constructive and not, like, you know, this is retarded. Or I'm gonna say this is retarded maybe, but then say like, okay, maybe it can be fixed in this way or that. Yeah, like for example, there should be bonuses probably to embracing Western philosophy, but like, it's really cool that there's some very, very obscure Korean things that not many people know about, such as the donghaks over here. And by the way, I cannot Korean, so... Yeah, that's really... Yeah, all these focuses about the agriculture and natural resources. And yeah, there was a really, really... Like, Korean history from 1860 onwards, which is when the Chinese essentially stopped caring about what was going on in Korea because they didn't have the resources to do so, becomes really interesting because after the Treaty of Aigun in 1860, which essentially is the moment when Russia takes over all of this, you know, outer Manchuria, there was a big-ass power struggle in Korea between pro-Japanese factions that were generally more reformist, and sometimes pro-Chinese, sometimes pro-Russian, more conservative factions. And it's a really, really interesting read. If you ever get your hands on a few books about it, do make sure to read about it because it's really, really interesting. Caplock pistols. Hey Davide, che c'è? XD. Woody. Anyway, we are about to have the war. Oh, I forgot to declare war on the... I'm an idiot. I forgot to declare war My whole intention was to declare war on Morocco and let the war simmer for like a million years. Ah, well. Hey, how much fleet do you have? You know, I could naval invade in Venice. Or in Trieste. Nah, that's probably a pretty bad idea. We should probably keep our forces together as much as possible. Right. How many ships? 18. Okay. There we go. 20 ships. You know, these frigates are real shit. So I'm gonna build like 2 more and then stop, then go for convoys, and then try to improve my navy. Mwah! Omae wa mou shindeiru. Nani? You know, one thing that's kind of funny is the convert to Protestantism. Oh, there we are. Okay. That's one thing that I always love. This subsidizes con farm event. Gives me that +1 con farm. Praise the free market. Anyway. Austria demands demobilization. After our occupation of the Italian states and the founding of our alliance with France, Austria has sent an ultimatum demanding the demobilization of our army. The time has come for war. Yeah, finally we get to kill the Austrians. There we go. So all these things happen and they give us people, units, and stuff. Annexation of Central Italy. The people of the Central Italian states have risen up against their government to form a united Central Italian states government under our guidance. This is the first step in the RISORGIMENTO, and now we must defeat the Austrians for all the Italians in the world. The unification is near. So here we go. That's the reason why I had 2 armies instead of 1, because we annexed Tuscany. Yeah, winning with Piedmont is relatively easy. You should have like 20 more troops. There's no reason to. We can win without the 20 more troops. Cotton farmed. Yeah, of course. Apparently we have some divisions that are exiled in Bologna. Yeah, obviously. Anyway. Apparently, I forgot to move around some troops. Oops. There we go. This is gonna be easy, easy peasy. I wish I was in the land of cotton. Yes, obviously you do. Yeah, we're not gonna take that extra. Oh, now it's in Piedmont. Very good. I'm not sure what happened, but it switched location. Very good. Free arms factory. Yay. There we go. I always hate when this happens. Yeah, right, I should just be doing this. There we go. And yeah, this is a really easy war. Just in case you haven't noticed. Really now, it's just take over Milan. Last time it wasn't. Hey, you know, maybe I could game the game and let them keep Milan so that the event doesn't fire and annex all of Austria. Nah, I'm not gonna do that, but yeah. Ooh, the Roman Republic. We're a little, you know, off time for that. It was like 11 years ago. The Roman Republic. And we didn't lose that much. Very good. Yeah, see, the taking of Milan does not actually end the war. We need to progress on a little bit further, which is fine. Fine by me. Oh, it takes some time, but it triggers. Okay, I see. Well, then I guess we just 4-speed it on. Aw. There we go, victory. Our brave men have secured a victory in the Second Independence War. We are occupying the territory of Lombardy, and Austria has agreed to transfer it to us. Which is, funnily enough, not what happened in real life. They transferred it to France, and then France transferred it to Italy. Or, well, not Italy, Sardinia, Piedmont. But yeah, it was a humiliating ordeal. And in fact, part of the reason why the Italians just reneged on the whole deal with the French. Have you heard Marcia Trionfale? It sounds like a cartoon theme tune. I might have at some point, but I don't remember. I do not remember any of that now. Yeah, extra factory, and now we can take the war ends. Very good, the fight is over. And those who have fought for us can now go home. Now, next up is Central Italy. Yeah, all these units, except for the Tuscans, I believe, are gonna go away, because they're all event spawned. This other army is gonna become our main army. Don't ask for French help. You cannot not ask for French help. Well, okay, you can avoid asking for French help, but like the focus tree is kind of reliant upon it. Because I believe you cannot like bypass it all by having already formed Italy. So you cannot take the form Italy focus, which is gonna switch your focus tree to be the Italian focus tree. Although I guess you could just cheat through it, but I don't know. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, Ruggero Papa Beccaris. This is a relatively well-known man. Yeah, Pope, we're coming. We're coming, you cuck. Be scared. Be scared, Pope. We could establish serfdom. Wow, okay. I never saw this happen before, but seems like Russia killed itself. And wait, the Frenchies have not invaded Vietnam. Do the Frenchies even have like bases around here? No. Yeah, probably. Oh, by the way, he's proclaiming the liberal empire, because of course. Good job, Napoleon III. Anyway, the Russians are getting smashed by the Caucasians. Have you seen Peak Montenegro? Yes. Czernagora, Danilo the First. Wait, he's not a puppet. Oh. 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 Holy shit. Mom, get the Mom, get the camera! Assassination of Knez Danilo. Punish clan Bielopavlich. Execute Todor Kadic. Russia suicided, yeah. First Montenegrin newspapers, the national anthem, United Serb Youth. Oh my god. Montenegro is just... Oh. Prepare for war. Yes, yes, Montenegro is strong. Montenegro, best country. Amaro Montenegro, sapore vero. Yeah, anyway, how can Russia even lose that war? Well, defenders of the Caucasus, plus 20% attack on core territory, plus 40% defense on core territory, plus 5% attack and defense bonus against Russia. So even when they're not, you know, even when they're not on core territory, they can still pack a punch. Although, right now it seems like the Russian skeleton units are trying to encircle and take Sochi. And if they can do that... Oh no, he's trying to reinforce Circassia over here. Okay. And over here, it seems like the Caucasian Imamet has managed to take Astrakhan. So yeah. The Sino-French War. Well, it's gonna be a little bit... later on? Yeah, that's like in 68, is it? I'm pretty sure. Not 100% on that. You know, Liechtenstein has a focus tree. Oh. Oh. No, he okay. I guess that's just in the development build. Anyway, Serb youth. Yes, of course. Anyway, the Caucasian Imamet is probably going to lose because it seems like their troops are just spreading out too much and they're gonna get encircled. Oh no! Okay, they're saving them. Although the Russians have encircled the 4th and 7th Circassians. So yeah. What's this mod about? Well, for now, it's the Victorian period. Later on, it is also planning to expand a lot further into like Hearts of Iron's normal timeline. So the whole idea is that you can play a kind of mega campaign from... Oh, wow. Thanks. You can kind of play a mega campaign from 1857 to, like, you know, modern day. No, San Marino has a focus tree. Yes, the best country in the world, San Marino. The first republic to have ever existed, XD. Well, no, not necessarily, but yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen that one before. Yeah, so once Italy unifies, they can actually do some things. Honor Marinus. Democratic values. Yeah, this Russia's getting cucked. I love how honor Abraham Lincoln, because they actually did that in real life. You know, San Marino was actually like a baller in real life. Yeah, it is planned. Yeah, Russia's getting crushed. I think the Russian Empire is gonna fall to the Caucasians. Because I don't see the Russians actually coming back from this. Well, I mean, okay, the Russians do have some industry, while the Caucasians do not. So maybe the Russians can, like, gather up whatever troops they have and eventually win against the Caucasians. Especially because the Caucasians also, oh, they have manpower. At least the Caucasian Imamet. The Circassians do not have manpower, so they're, you know, whenever they get killed for good. Yeah, they have more infantry than them, but at the same time, if you look at the templates, the Russians have bigger templates. And the Russians, more importantly, actually have industry. So at some point they can actually replenish their troops, which the Caucasians, they can't really. But if they can like take out the Russian units, then ooh, and it's gonna be real bad. The Russians also have no equipment. Yeah, that's the thing, because they suicided against the mountains. Formation of the United Provinces of Central Italy. The governments of Tuscany, Parma, Modena, and the papal legations have decided to unite under the United Provinces of Central Italy. Multiple military treaties followed by an election resulted in a Sardinian Piedmont Senator Carlo Boncompagni di Mombello becoming the president of the newly formed state. Another step in unification complete. Yeah, there we go. So, unfortunately, this motherfucker is guaranteed by the French Empire. Mother Russia, yes. The Italian Central States, Tuscany and Emilia, have declared for the union with Sardinia Piedmont, along with Parma and Modena, under the Italian Central States. This brings us one step closer to finishing the unification of Italy and then the Risorgimento. So yeah, now they're our puppet, the Italian Central Provinces. But, you know, they're gonna get annexed now. Because, that's pretty great. Wait, he's using the Tuscan focus tree. That's great. So he's actually Tuscany. 28 agosto 1859 cominciava l'evento di Carrington, la più grande tempesta solare che sia mai registrata da uno strumento umano. So for those of you who are not pizza, what it's saying there is 28th of August 1859, the Carrington event commences. The greatest, what would you call that? Solar storm? Solar tempest? Not sure. That was ever recorded by human instrumentation. How great. Yeah, right. Now I need to save up legislative power to get high taxes because they're overpowered as hell. Although they might give us some bad events, but who cares? And San Marino is best San Marino. Yes, of course. Of course. Yes, I'm great. Hello, Woodstock. Where are you from in Italy? I am from here, my friend. In the state... Okay. So, real talk. Can you please rename the state? At least for the mod. Because, like, okay, this is actually... pisses me off. This is actually Paradox's fault. That this state is called Romagna. It's not supposed to be called Romagna. Only this part is Romagna. The rest of the state is not Romagna, okay? I am not a Romagnan, okay? Fuck you. Italian regionalism for the win. Might have some future ramification if Russia falls. Oh, you don't say. When you unite Italy, pizza time. Yeah, boy. Pizza time for Italy. We do not need any of the aircraft stuff right now. Oh yeah, right, we can take this one. That's pretty useful. Extra legislative power. Lunga vita alla patria immortale! Because obviously. Cool, my family came from Modena. Oh yes! Well, I'm also technically from Modena. Or, well, I mean, I grew up in Modena. And I live in Bologna. So, yeah. This whole thing, this whole strip is pretty damn dear to me, obviously. Russia is my homie. Oh no, the Circassians are in Crimea. Oh no, they're gonna take it over. Yeah, like the state where the front where the Russians have the most chances is actually the one where they're facing the Imam, because here the Imam has more troops spread out over a bigger region. So yeah, the Imam is gonna lose a cavalry division, which is obviously bad for him, and he might even lose these two infantry. Sorry, this one infantry and this one cavalry. But where the Circassians are very concentrated. So obviously that's gonna make the AI a lot more proficient at surviving. And yeah, see, like, Bologna, so I can use it to make my spaghetti alla bolognese. Yes, of course. Even though technically, and if I were Istanbul as my city. What about Constantinople, though? Or Constantine, or Byzantium? So yeah, like, there should be a peace event for those Caucasian separatists. They're not separatists. They were there before the Russians came in, so no, they're not separatists. Like, Circassia and the Caucasian Imamate are not, like, conquered people. At least not yet. Like, yeah, technically they're under Russian jurisdiction after some war with the Ottomans, I think. But they never really listened to the Ottomans anyway, so yeah, like, the Caucasian people are generally, you know, pretty reluctant to listen to outsiders. And, oh, the Caucasian cavalry have taken Tsaritsyn. When are you gonna stream the World War II strategy again? Well, I mean... Oh, you mean, whatchamacallit? Strategic Command. Should be soon. I think, sometime next week I'll find time for a stream of that. Because I do want to continue my allies campaign there. Königsberg is my city. I think you mean Kaliningrad there, comrade. Wait, hold on. Okay, so we still haven't had the Expedition of the 1000 yet, so yeah, we can just wait for that. Speaking of the Expedition of the 1000, oh crap, I should probably turn this off. One thing that I probably can do is get like you two to land near Naples. And get you two to land near Bari and Taranto. Fun fact, if the Netherlands takes New York, they can rename it to New Amsterdam. I wonder what the tag would be for them. Hull. Oh wow, there's actually a lot of stuff for the Netherlands. Encourage Dutch centrism. Stabilize the nation, that's normal. Ooh, begin industrializing. Oh, they're an agrarian society. Huh, how interesting. They need interchangeable parts. Subsidize the Dutch shipbuilding industry. Keukenhof. Caucasian Imamate, I've never heard of it. A lot of people have never heard of the Caucasians, but they're interesting people. Is that some kind of Don Kuban union or something? No, it's not. So essentially, okay. Big long rant about Russian history and comics. So the Don Kuban Union in Kaiserreich is coming from essentially Cossacks Separatism. Now, who are the Cossacks? The Cossacks are essentially Russians or Ukrainians, in general East Slavs, okay? So by East Slavs I mean anyone who is a Belarusian, Russian, or Ukrainian by modern definition. So anyone who's a Slav that lived... Okay, so the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth makes barriers difficult to identify, but generally speaking, Slavs that lived somewhere east of Lvov, okay? Where the fuck is Lvov? There's Brest, Lublin, there we go. So generally, no, sorry, that's Poland. And I was thinking of, where the hell is Lvov? Mozyr, Lutsk, Rovne. Huh. Volhynia. Yeah, it's somewhere over here. Anyway, generally, Slavs who live east of this line-ish are considered Eastern Slavs. The Cossacks were obviously from this kind of ethnic background, but they obviously didn't have the same lifestyle as the mostly sedentary normal Slavs. They were kind of nomadic, and they became kind of a military hereditary society, kind of, within the Russian and Polish empires, mostly the Russian though. But sometimes they Lvov is owned by... Oh, right! It's owned by Austria-Hungary. It's Lemberg. Right, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. Anyway, yeah, Lemberg. I was thinking of the Italian name, Leopoli. And, yeah, so essentially the Cossacks lived in this general region. They were divided into hosts. And then they were the spearhead of Russian expansion eastward because of their generally lawless nature. They could just be sent somewhere and left to do whatever without them causing trouble at home, because they themselves used a kind of democratic system within them. Although, as a collective, they owed allegiance to the Tsar. Within them, they were generally troublemakers, and they used, again, a kind of democratic / almost anarchist kind of system. And there were Tatar LARPers. Yeah, essentially, like, it was a whole tradition in, like, a lot of these settled societies that bordered nomads, where, like, essentially people that had nowhere left to, like, nothing left to, quote-unquote, live for, that had no, like, chances in settled society because of, I don't know, maybe land was lacking, or maybe they just didn't want to pay allegiance to the lord or whatever. They'd just run off and join the nomads. It was the same thing for China. You had that happening to, obviously, on the nomad frontier. So back when this region was overflooded with, like, different types of nomadic empires, such as the Khazars, later on, the Pechenegs, the Polovtsi, just all these fucking random nomadic empires. And eventually, I believe the last ones, you know, obviously the Mongols and the Golden Horde, and then the Kazan Khanate over here. Where the hell is Kazan? Kazan, there we go. So Kazan Khanate, Sibir Khanate, all these things. You know, a kind of tradition became established where some of the sedentary people ran off to be LARPers, essentially, and lived like a nomad. And, wow, they spawned 7 line infantry in Tsaritsyn. Not a step back! Nishagunazad. Although they're getting surrounded. What mod is this? It's End of a New Beginning, as you can see in the title. And anyway, they became the Cossacks. Eventually, they spearheaded Russian expansion into Siberia and into the Kuban, which is this region, and the Caucasus, which is this region. Now, in Kaiserreich, the Kuban, which is not the Caucasus, mind you, although it is on the way to the Caucasus, is an independent region under a sort of separatist Cossack government under, I believe, Krasnov, who was a famous ataman or Cossack commander. But that whole, like, political order is deriving from essentially what the Cossacks became after, one could argue, a series of essentially failed rebellions, the most famous of which was Stenka Razin, who essentially tried to, you know, make his own empire in the Volga region. After, like, a bunch of the more troublesome Cossacks were subdued, essentially the Cossacks became to be increasingly seen as, you know, in the popular culture, they became sort of to be seen as the enforcers of Tsarism, which is not what they originally were. But eventually they became that. They became, like, the kind of warriors of Tsarist Russia, the most reactionary, the most barbaric. And, yeah, that's what they kind of became. Then, you know, there was a very, very complicated history with the Cossacks during the Russian Revolution. Obviously, in Kaiserreich, the Russian Revolution fails, and Tsarism is back, but the Atamans that were given autonomy during the Russian Civil War, because the Cossacks were still around, and they still controlled kind of territory around here, and they were still divided into different hosts, like the Terek Cossack, the Don Cossacks, and the Volga Cossacks. You know, all they were kind of their own separate, independent, quote-unquote, tribes. And during the Russian Civil War, they aligned with the white movement, some of them. And so those were the white Cossacks. And those are the ones that you see in Kaiserreich. The Caucasians instead are just like the original, quote unquote, because, you know, that's always a very relative definition, inhabitants of the Caucasus mountain range. The Cossacks were nomads who rode on horses and fought, and generally were nasty people in the plains near the rivers and the steppes, whereas the Caucasians, in Russian, it's actually even more difficult to distinguish between the Cossacks and the Caucasians in terms of language, because the way you say Cossack is Kazakh, and obviously the way you say Caucasus is Kavkaz, so it's actually kind of derpy. And also, another thing that you can confuse them with is Kazakh, which is a Kazakh, but whatever. So obviously, you know, these three words are related, obviously, because, you know, in imagination, it's like, those are people that fight and ride horses. So, yeah. Anyway, the Caucasians are people that fight, ride horses, and generally are nasty individuals in the Caucasus Mountains, so not in the steppes. And they fought with the Russians for something like, well, they've been fighting with the Russians because, you know, there's still a little bit of tensions in this whole area. Either with the Russians or whoever else was trying to come in there for, you know, millennia, essentially. Like, they caused Cyrus the Great problems. And, you know, they were a bit of a pain in the rear for the Russian Empire as well. So this massive tangent aside, what the hell should we be doing? Artillery. Now, field guns or howitzers? Typical face when a bunch of mountain niggas did what the Ottoman Empire couldn't. Why there was never a Volga German nation? Well, because the Germans kind of just emigrated everywhere in Eastern Europe, did they? Anyway, howitzer. Howitzer is more defense and more soft attack. And more hard attack. Less breakthrough, though. So, howitzers. At least for now. Is there actually any, like, later game benefit to the field guns? Seems like it, but for now we're gonna keep howitzers. Afghanistan, the best country ever. You know, nah, whatever. Let's just wait for 1861. Oh, we should probably turn off Fog of War again. The Reale Società Segreta. Should probably be Società Reale Segreta. But, you know, it doesn't matter. The Academy of Palermo. Yes! Oh, confirm absolutism. You will pay for that, Two Sicilies. You will pay for that. Yeah, the Risorgimento is relatively romanticized. I mean, especially, like, the Expedition of the Thousand is, like, you know, heavily... Ooh, resolution of the Utah War. The Expedition of the Thousand is obviously, like, heavily part of, later on, folklore, popular culture about Italian history. Was Jabal Shammar and Nejd for 100 years the same until World War I ended and Nejd conquered Jabal? Not that I know of, but, like, I don't even know. Like, see, the kind of thing about this whole area is that, like, you cannot really easily summarize it in a video game term because these were generally tribes. They were generally tribal kind of emirates, kingdoms, whatever you want to call them. So it's really difficult to, like, define boundaries, you know? Because, like, who really knows, like, what stretch of desert they really considered theirs or not? And it's most likely, like, these... Okay, so, like, Nejd and Jabal Shammar, like, you know, as a whole, they were probably, like, the most powerful. But, like, the way tribal allegiances work is that generally... that's a good book. Generally, like, whoever's the leader of the big one doesn't have, like, ultimate authority over, like, the leaders of the little tribes that are beneath him. Or that are in his orbit as a whole. So, most likely, you know, there were, like, tiny individual tribes that kind of considered themselves independent that were switching sides all over the place. most likely. Is it true that Savoy invaded Crimea in the Crimean Wars? Yes, they sent help to France and Britain, which was a great move because it was overall intended as a way to kind of cock-block Austria and insert the Italian national question. Why do we still have these two? Huh. Apparently the French have not taken this. How interesting. Yeah, Nesh today is Saudi Arabia, obviously. How many divisions does Russia have now? 2 divisions. The Russian Empire is gonna fall to the Caucasians. Allahu Akbar! Jabal Shamar was pro-Ottoman. Right, I've read a little tiny bit of that about that, but like, yeah, I don't know that much about it. But only like 27 of them died in a real battle. Well, that's kind of like what happened to the Brits and French as well. Most of them dying of disease is par for the course for those wars, but especially the Crimean War, which was kind of a lot of standing around waiting, you know? It was kind of like World War I before World War I. Oh, Garchakov, I'm pretty sure that the sale of Alaska is not your, you know, your biggest worry right now, because the Caucasians are reaching Moscow. Oh, good old Hearts of Iron 4 production system doesn't allow. Avanti Savoia! Yes, in this case, I agree, because we're playing as them. Excuse me, are you talking about this nonsense? Look at that Circassia and Caucasian Emirate. Pathetic. We need the USSR now. Well, this is even before, like, Kropotkin or anything started writing. So yeah, I guess we need Decembrist Russian Republic, is what you mean. We need Decembrism. Декабристы вперед. Do you think that without Great Britain betraying the Arabians after World War I, Arabia wouldn't be such a civil war mess? Because I saw a lot of alternate history stuff. Okay, so I wouldn't think that really, because see, the thing about the Middle East is that it's such a complicated place, just like everywhere else in the world. But at the same time, like, the reason why it's so shitty right now is not really because of like one single mistake or plot of anyone. It's because the Middle East has a lot of inherent possibilities for political divisions. The entities that did become independent in the Middle East never were strong enough to make their own weight felt, and they're both at a strategic crossroads between the Mediterranean, so the Western world, and the Indian Ocean, so the East and Asian markets, and they're sitting on a pile of a lot of natural resources, not just oil, but obviously mostly oil. So it was like, even if the British did not betray the Arabs and like gave them a united Arab state, that united Arab state, however it would have looked, it would have probably been something like this-ish, you know, going all the way down to Hejaz and maybe up to Damascus and Aleppo, maybe, and maybe with Iraq. Probably not Iraq, though. Probably that would have always been a British possession because they already had, you know, Kuwait and stuff. I knew Victoria Free was going to be made. And yeah, and probably Palestine would have always been British because, you know, they had Egypt. So like, whatever this would have been, this Frankenstein, it still probably would have fallen under the sphere of influence of one great power or the other, simply because it's too important to pass up. And if you're taking a look at other areas around the world where you even have like other united entities, the same thing happened. Like, you know, the same thing happened to China, and, you know, China's a little bit bigger than the Middle East. Now, obviously, China has the potential to come back and become the aggressor, strike back, as it may, against those that wronged them in the past. Arabia, they kind of missed their chance. Maybe if they had been able to, like, make some kind of Frankenstein union of Arabs, like, you know, from perhaps even Libya or Egypt all the way to Iraq and the southern areas of the Arabian Peninsula, maybe they would have had the power to kind of... Wait, hold on. What? Apparently there is a peace event. Because earlier on they didn't own North Dagestan. Did they? They were just southern Dagestan. And Azerbaijan, they did not own that. That was Russian. Principality of Mingralia also was a Russian puppet. Huh, what the fuck? I wonder if it's a scripted event or the AI actually being, like, quote-unquote smart and not, you know, being able to annex everything in one war, because that's not how life works generally. Yeah, talking about the Middle East with the green text. Yeah, pretty much. Also, what about radical Islam because of Najd Wahhabism? But Najd Wahhabism only became important because Saudi Arabia became important. So if there had been a United Arab Kingdom under Faisal and the Hashemites or whatever, or maybe a united, like, Arab Republic of something, like if Nasser had succeeded, it probably would have locked Wahhabism out of a lot of its ideological pull. Hey, Matter. Yeah, we're talking about interesting things and Russia getting destroyed. Yeah, in general, it's much more than the Sykes-Picot Agreement. Although, obviously, the Sykes-Picot Agreement did not help. But the reason the Sykes-Picot Agreement was signed is very, is very, very, like, contingent and, like, really existing. Like, it's not like the Sykes-Picot Agreement was signed because, you know, Sykes-Picot and the English, French, and Russians, because we bloody forget about the Russians, but the Russians also were involved in that partition. They would have gotten this whole chunk of stuff, and they would have gotten the Straits. So, you know, Russia... Oh. Земля и воля, блять, сука, yes. Anyway, like, what was I saying? So yeah, the Russians were also guilty. It's not because they were, like, quote-unquote, like, evil or anything. Yeah, Pan-Arabism ended up failing. But, it's not because the Entente were evil or anything. It's just because generally that's what empires do. They secure their interests or the interests of their elites. So it's not like it's that difficult to comprehend that even if the Sykes-Picot Agreement had not happened, some other way of partitioning the Middle East along spheres of influences, because it's just a strategic... Oh, the peace event is scripted. Okay, then why didn't it fire once they took, like, Tsaritsyn or something? I don't know, whatever. Imagine some Russian nobles being raided by some crazy guys with horses and stolen Russian guns, and then the elderly like, this again? I mean, this has not been happening since the 1400s, so... Anyway, what should we research right now? Damn, there's so many texts to research. It's so great. Special Infantry Corps. Huh. Special Forces. Huh. Early Marines. You know, probably the first special force that you should get are Mountaineers, right? Because, you know, Mountain Infantry is nothing new. Although I don't see Mountain Infantry anywhere here. Yeah, we need you frigates, I guess. Gunboat. Oh, gunboat's actually bigger. '1812 ship of the line. Hashtag Trafalgar again. Damn, ships of the line are pretty bloody big. This sloop uses a steam engine for faster propulsion. Experimental submarine. Yes, my friend. Yeah, it fired a tad bit late. Huh, great. That's great. Why was the Sultan a thing until 1921? You mean like the Ottoman Sultan? Well, because, you know, they took a while to dethrone him. Like, obviously the Ottoman Empire was a relatively complicated place. And as far as I know, the Entente were also in favor of keeping the Sultan around. So yeah, not sure, just not sure. Middle East was dominated by external powers for most of history anyway. Well, see, the thing is, yeah, like, after the switch of global trade from the Mediterranean to the Atlantic and the essentially formation of the global trade that we know of, you know, from the East, the Far East, all the way to Europe, and then the triangular trade and, you know, all this kind of nonsense. Like, the Middle East just became screwed by geography because you have that they're literally in between the Far East, where all the goods are being produced, and the Far West, where all the technology was being produced, and where, you know, people were starting to set out for distant shores to search for things like spices and stuff that, like, the Ottomans at some point just didn't let them obtain because they were obviously, you know, they were obviously trying to keep the prices high for themselves. So, you know, access to the Indies is relatively important. They were relevant in the antiquity because, again, they were in the middle of this. Because in the antiquity, you cannot have, like, long-range trade from China to Europe. You do have occasional contact, but you cannot have, like, regular trade. So whoever's in the middle can reap the benefits of trade from, you know, long, far, distant regions. Like, even in the Bronze Age, bronze is made of tin and, what was that other thing? Tin and copper. Now, copper, I believe you can find it somewhere over here or something, but where's tin from? Tin was in Afghanistan, and in Yunnan, and in, like, generally the areas around the Himalayas. This is a tin belt. You find tin mines in places like China, Afghanistan, I believe some in India too, and some in Burma. I'm not 100% sure. So there was this almost cross-continent trade already from the Bronze Age. Now, then the Bronze Age collapse happened, blah, blah, blah. And obviously the Middle East had other advantages that weren't related to, you know, global geography before the 1400s. But, you know, at some point, just this middle position stopped being an advantage. Anyway, the expedition of 2000, also Silver Red asked if I can check the path Brazil is taking. Yeah, they're going for slavery. That's really sad. That's really sad because obviously the immigration is really, really cool, but send slaves to the Amazon. So what do they get in the end? They get cotton farms and remove national spirit at the end of the transatlantic slaver trade. Huh. Oh, they get that here too, but they get other things here. Yeah, to me it seems like the slave path is a little bit more about resources, obviously. Anyway, the expedition of the 1,000. Garibaldi, who is the absolute baller that is our general, has landed in southern Sicily with a force of 1,000 men fighting the Sicilian armies. The people of Sicily have risen up and have joined Garibaldi's army under the Southern Army. This is the final step of the Risorgimento for Italy. Yes, so now it is going to be the last moment. Now hold on. There we go. Que Deus salve nossa ciao gentil, ave gloria, ave imperio do Brasil. Well, obviously. Die for Brazil. Brazil strong. Hue, hue, hue. Anyway, here we have the Southern Army rising up for the challenge. They're gonna help. Obviously, we have these troops over here. They have spawned in Palermo. Garibaldi's volunteers, yes, 1,000 of them, although there are a few more than 1,000. In the end, they became a little bit more than 1,000. He had 1,000 when he departed off of Sardinia, but later on... Oh, look, the Sicilians actually have troops. Oh, no, they don't. We can take body for free. All right. I do like it when I can get Puglia for free. Hua 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 BR. Yes. Give monies blocks or I report you. Oh, we do not. Wait, what? Oh, come on. Come on, mate. Don't be like that. Oh, crap. That was not. There we go. How about the Pope? Yeah, the Pope. You don't even need to naval invade. No, but it's cooler if you do. So I'm doing it. And it's gonna be faster. The Pope stays here until 1871. At least if things go historically, because he is guaranteed by the French Empire, because this guy, Napoleon III, is a big dick. And he fancied himself very much the defender of Catholicism, which is obviously, you know, absolutely reactionary. But yeah, he fancied himself defender of Catholicism and all that was holy and just in Christendom, because his regime, in a way, depended on the support of the Catholic Church. So for him, preventing the young Italian nation from taking over the Pope was relatively important. Hey, I'm the Italian Devin, and just wanted to let you know that the decision to take the form Italy is broken. You just have to do the focus and everything will work. I know. It's okay. I wasn't worried about forming Italy. By the way, great job. There's gonna be a thing that I need to ask you later, though. Will I have time to take a look at that? Let's see. It's okay. Yeah. We will have time because in a bit, you know, in like half an hour, I'll stop streaming. But you know, we still have a little bit of time left before then. And there is gonna be one aspect about like the United Italian focus tree that I need to ask you about. Well, a couple of things actually, which I did talk about in my video if you saw it, but you know, whatever. Oh wow, you guys are finally coming in. You're a little slow there, mate. Anyway, that's the end of the Sicilians. There we go. It's ours. Pitiful, pitiful two Sicilies. Wait, hold on. Wait. I did not get the surrender event. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. I didn't get their navy, because there's actually a surrender. Yeah, there we go. See, that normally gives you, since you annex them by event, that gives you their ships. But didn't end up happening. So that's really sad. Alexa, play Il Canto degli Italiani. Anyway, we have military factories now. Why was Sardinia Piedmont the chosen one to unite Italy? That's a big old question. Well, a lot can be said about the fact that they were the main northern Italian state. Like, generally the big push for unification and independence from, you know, all the people were northern Italians. And there's a reason for that. Like, northern Italy at the time was relatively more developed economically, although not as much as later on. Like, right now it's, you know, it's ridiculous. It's like this up here is, it's a bit like Germany almost, with the obvious, you know, implications. And this is a bit like Portugal, to say, just to make you understand the kind of economic division in terms of development that you have in modern Italy. Wasn't as bad back then, although the Bourbon reign and, you know, two Sicilies did play a big role in why the South today is a lot more behind the rest of the country. But, you know, generally the push for independence and unification was coming from this region that I've highlighted right now. And of these places, the only state that came out of the Congress of Vienna with any sort of power was Sardinia Piedmont. Because all these ones, you know, Tuscany, this was papal state, so that was out of the picture. Emilia-Romagna, so Parma and Modena, and obviously Lombardo-Veneto was just directly Austrian, whereas these other ones were pretty much under the orbit of the Austrians. Why badmouth my Portugal? I wasn't trying to badmouth it. I am only stating a state of affairs. Like, Portugal right now, unfortunately for Portugal, is not as well off as other countries in Europe. I was just saying that, like, southern Italy, in terms of its prosperity, it's more like Portugal, whereas the north of Italy, from Tuscany and Romagna onwards, is more like some parts of Germany. So that's how ridiculous the divide is. North Italian master race versus Southern Italian peasants. And there was, like, a historical difference. Like, sometimes Southern Italy was not even counted as being part of Italy, like, by some thinkers. When does Italian get Veneto? It is at the time of the Austro-Prussian War of 1866. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, essentially, like, take out the Pope and middle finger to French, be an absolute mad lad. I might think of that, because I somehow got to keep Savoy, so that would be a big old middle finger. They still haven't found a way to invade the Nian dynasty, which is hilarious. Next thing that we should be doing, actually, I think, is... okay, no, never mind. So, like, after... Right, Form Italy. After we have done Form Italy, we are gonna justify on, like, the Ottomans. Oh, no, Greece first, and then the Ottomans. Because fuck Greece, I guess. Anyway, so, like... Oh, right, we can take high taxes. That's very good. What else can we take? Border control, that's fine. Limited conscription, that is okay. Portugal just needs Salazar and Catholic corporations. Hashtag organic kingdom. That's all that I'm gonna say. And we would like free trade, to be honest, but, you know. Northern Italian meatheads voted against monarchy. Well, I mean, if you know the history of what that monarchy had accomplished, quote unquote, then you probably know the reason why that was the case. Anyway, monarchy aside. Yeah, essentially, out of the Congress of Vienna, you have that this strip is just very, very much Habsburg. And so, obviously, it wasn't going to try to upset the status quo. Now, the first period from 1815 up to about the 1848 watermark, you actually had that Sardinia-Piedmont was also very much restorationist, reactionary. Whereas the big push for unification was being made by revolutionary forces and rebels, secret societies, the Carbonari, the famous Carbonari, which are actually referenced in the French folk history, which is great, actually. Although they probably should not be part of the French Empire folk history, the armed revolutionaries over here, because the French Empire was, you know, the Napoleonic Second Empire was relatively reactionary, so they wouldn't really support this lovely revolutionary Italy. And by this point in history, the Carbonari were pretty much not there anymore. But, you know, it's great that they're referenced. So these guys were essentially like secret societies that were formed to essentially unite Italy with secret society tactics. So, you know, uprisings, bombings, terrorism, all that kind of stuff. They failed in the end, but they did, like, a lot of revolutionary attempts. Like, for example, one famous one was Ciro Menotti in Modena. You had the Milan days. So, you know, there were a lot of uprisings. So they were pushing for two things: political liberalization, so constitutionalism, and revolutionary democracy, you know, capitalism, all these kinds of things. Although they obviously wouldn't have framed it as capitalism. But, you know, just generally the downfall of the aristocracy, so the French Revolution, that had been brought to Italy by Napoleon's army. And on the other end, they were pushing for, obviously, national unification, because those two things were going hand in hand. So, you know, political liberalization and a constitution and a nation state, and the rule of the market instead of the rule of the aristocrats, and a national market. So, you know, the abolition of the abolition of trade restrictions and restrictions on movement and restrictions on the printing press, thought, all these kinds of things. They were all going hand in hand together. Eventually, after 1848, Sardinia-Piedmont, the leaders kind of realized that because there was like a big revolutionary attempt in Sardinia-Piedmont, a part of the Piedmontese political establishment switched from reactionary to, you could say, quote-unquote progressive or revolutionary or unificationist or nationalist. And that was what spawned eventually Cavour as a leader. But yeah, in the beginning it was actually the king called like something Alberto. I don't remember the first name, but you know, he became famous for essentially conceding to the Piedmontese society the first Italian constitution, the Statuto Albertino, as we call it, the Albertine Statute, which doesn't sound as good in English. And from that point onward, although there was a restoration at one point that abolished this constitution, like the drift of Piedmont towards essentially becoming the leader of the national reunification movement was kind of set. Let's take Volta's battery, because it's an Italian thing. Did Vittorio Emanuele III have a choice after a march on Rome? At least he helped Badoglio in the end. Yes, he had a choice. The fascists at that time were just a bunch of derps. And I'm not saying that as like, you know, trying to undermine, but really they weren't that well organized or numerous. But hey, history nerd. Yeah, Carlo Alberto. Thank you. My memory was going, you know, all over the place. Carlo Alberto di Savoia, pretty cool guy. Anyway, like the thing about the March on Rome is that the overall main reason why the fascists were accepted in the Italian sort of political establishment, because that's what ended up happening. Like, they did not, quote unquote, overthrow the establishment. They joined it up. They joined up with it. And what are these templates, by the way? 4-line infantry. Yeah, the Royal Infantry, I don't know. I do not know how these templates work. Oh, actually, I have a bunch of army experience, so I could reform my army a little bit. So what's the difference between the line and the... Do I have enough guns? No, I do not have enough guns. Do I have enough guns for this? No. What about this? No. Unfortunate. So, okay, line infantry versus light infantry. Light infantry is less organization, less equipment, less supply weight, the same combat width, less HP. What about the terrain modifiers, though? Right now, I do not see the terrain modifiers. They don't seem to have terrain modifiers. Yeah, okay, see, Jira, we're heading into weird territory. But yeah, essentially, like, okay, so after... The reason they got co-opted in, quote-unquote, was the kind of Red Scare that was ongoing, because 1920 to 1922 is what in Italy we call the Biennio Rosso, the 2 red years. And you can imagine why. I mean, this was the fallout of the Russian Civil War and the Great War. Or sorry, not the Russian Civil War, the Russian Revolution and the Great War. So there was a period in which it looked to be possible that Italy would have fallen to revolutionary communism. And so the fascists were meant to be kind of a bulwark against that. How much equipment will we gain from this? A lot. So we're gonna disband this so that we get equipment, so that we can turn all of you into the Italian nationalist template, because light infantry is derp. I went to Siena last week and stood at the Sala del Risorgimento, or Vittorio Emanuele's room, where I admired Vittorio Emanuele II's uniform. That's great. Right, no, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking in general, and I just mentioned you because you were talking about it. Yeah, like, the whole Secessione dell'Aventino thing, which is what he's talking about, is when essentially, like, after the fascists took power 100% legally, essentially. 100% legally, because, you know, the king did give Mussolini the prime ministership, or whatever you want to call it. Aye, stop right now. Why? Why stop right now? I'm about to form Italy. We're about to... Don't you dare attack Austria. Oh, you want to see what happens? No, I wasn't attacking Austria, like... You know, I was gonna wait a little while. I go for a second and the gameplay gets crazy. Yeah. What's Prussia doing, actually? No, but see, like, the gameplay, I'm not even doing, like, much gameplay right now because people are just fucking talking about, like, Italian history, and so I have to barge in, and I'm spending more time talking than actually playing. There we go. Form Italy. Yes, the kingdom of it, the unification of Italy. Yes, my friend. Why did most Italians vote to dissolve the monarchy? You know, they had kind of helped cause fascism and did pretty much not much of the Second World War. So yeah, the Savoia weren't that liked at that point. Some people said it was rigged. Nah, that's That's kind of nonsensical. Anyway, the unification of Italy. Look at this massive fucking event. That's amazing. Like, I don't have time to read it all right now, but that's great. I'm pretty sure this is like some kind of like historical. Yeah, it's like the actual speech, which is great. Why did it take so long for the Italian people to unite again? What do you mean again? I'm not sure what you mean again. Like, do you mean... Okay, so here we have the new focus tree as Italy. Now, this one... deal with brigandage. That's a whole heap pile of shit that we do not want to think about right now. Tomatoes! Yeah, the Italian focus tree is obviously not finished yet. One thing that is derpy, though, in my opinion, is the political tree, which we're gonna... Beh, sì, diciamo che anche il PSI però aveva le sue mani un po' non molto pulite, come si è visto. Roman Empire. Yeah, okay, you meant the Roman Empire. Okay, so that's kind of a misconception. See, that's... Okay, you can read the basic description of pastas. No, okay, so... That Italy is a successor state to the Roman Empire is a misconception. Okay, so like essentially that was bullshit drawn up by you could say the Renaissance thinkers. You know, they were pissed that Italy was starting to become a battleground for like France and Austria and Spain. So they were like, yeah, you know, we used to have the empire, blah, 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 but that was like 1,000 years earlier. Like, the old Latins and the modern-day Italians don't really have much to deal with each other in terms of a lot of things, actually. So, yeah, like, the Roman Empire's legacy, you could say, are all the European states. They are all successor states to the Roman Empire. So, yeah, that Italy is the new Rome, quote-unquote, is... both fascist propaganda, because the fascists obviously use that, and propaganda of some other kind, you know, in favor of Italian unification and Italian nationalism or proto-nationalism in the case of the Renaissance. But yeah, like, the reason they didn't unite is ridiculously complicated, so we cannot talk about it. It's literally just way too long. Anyway, talking about the actual focus tree, because I don't have that much time left. So the Italian focus tree itself, after you unite Italy, there's a couple of things I don't understand about it. So there's two main paths. So there's abolish the parliament or strengthen the parliament. Okay, so far relatively normal. Abolish the parliament is like autocracy, essentially. So that's like, okay, so it's a little bit of an extreme version of what was going on in... you know, in historical Italy. Over here, strengthen the parliament, you would say, is the, you know, quote-unquote historical variant, because in real life, Italy was a sort of liberal, sort of parliamentary system all the way up until the definition of when it stopped being that is hazy, but we could say 1922 to be very, very simplistic. The fascists romanticized the Germans the same as the Nazis did with the Germanians. Yes, they did. Very much. Anyway, then strengthen the parliament. So there's two paths there. You can either nurture liberal ideas or follow Mazzini. Okay, so Mazzini was not exactly 100% a liberal, but he was mostly that. So that's already kind of derpy. But then, like, if you nurture liberal ideals, which would be, quote-unquote, kind of like what you're doing in historical path because, you know, Italy was, with all of its faults, controlled by relatively liberal forces, again, all the way up to the end of the First World War. For some reason, you get a focus to overthrow the king. So you take down the king, and you proclaim a republic, which is what Mazzini was trying to do. Mazzini, instead, is for some reason a traditional conservative. Because, what? I don't know. I don't understand. Like, Mazzini was not a conservative in real life. So why does he get conservatism? I do not know. He also gets to ban monarchism, though, which, you know, is correct, because he was very much anti-monarchy. And Young Europe revived, so you can... Well, it's not, like, it's not implemented yet, but, you know, then you can go on a whole, you know, crusade against monarchies in Europe. So, like, I feel like this part is not really well thought out. Like, ban monarchism, unite the Italian peoples, these two things make sense. Maybe, quote-unquote, march on Rome is okay. But, like, it shouldn't be traditional conservatism. It should be something like radical democracy. It should, in fact, it's pretty much should be radical democracy, because that's what Mazzini was for. It's what in Victoria they're called anarcho-liberals, although, you know, it's not exactly the same. But yeah, it's mostly that. So, for some reason, you do not have a historical Kingdom of Italy path. Because historically what happened was the parliament wasn't abolished. It, you know, Italy did not become an absolutist monarchy. But it also didn't make a republic, at least not until way later. And also, the Mazzini path is kind of derpy, and the liberal path is kind of derpy as well, because, again, a lot of the Italian liberals were pretty fine with constitutional monarchy, because their model was France and the United Kingdom, and later on Prussia. So constitutional monarchy systems, especially the United Kingdom. And when we talk about Cavour, who right now has been, for no real reason, evicted. Nazism, more like Matzism, eh? Yeah, I know, right? Especially when we're talking about Cavour, he was really, really a big fan of constitutionalism. But he was also pretty much okay with keeping the monarchy. In fact, ideologically, a lot of these constitutionalists around the 19th century were, you know, pretty much in favor of constitutional monarchy to begin with, rather than constitutional republics. I'm eating grapes and I accidentally made an Italian hand sign while watching this Italian unification video. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. Why does Prussia sound like Russia? I do not know. I do not know the etymology of Prussia. I do know the etymology of Russia, and it's... Well, actually, no. No one knows the real etymology of Russia. Because, of course, Russia in Russian is Россия. And Russian in... Russia in Church Slavonic, which is where... Well, okay, Church Slavonic was the fancy version of Proto-Slavic. And it was used by the Orthodox Church. It is maybe still used by the Orthodox Church? I don't know, whatever. Church Slavonic was it's essentially like the Latin of the Slavic world. In Church Slavonic and in Proto-Slavic, Rus was the word that you used to describe this, whatever this was. UK monarchy is still the point of reference for Italian monarchists. Yeah, but Italian monarchists aren't really around anymore. I monarchici italiani, insomma, cioè non è che ce ne sono così tanti. Però sì, esattamente, cioè comunque il punto di riferimento è ancora chiaramente il sistema del Regno Unito. E insomma, storicamente, quando le monarchie erano un pochettino più rilevanti, insomma, dalla Cina e dal Giappone, anche se il Giappone ha alla fine adottato il sistema più quello prussiano che inglese, comunque hanno sempre preso come modello il modello inglese. Comunque vabbè, a parte quello. I have all this misunderstanding about the history of my country and its political figures. Aww, that's derp. Anyway, like, so going back to the etymology of Russia, which is a very, very weird thing. Actually, I'm an idiot. I need to expand. Italian nationalists. Right, I just forgot about actually expanding these. I seem to be pretty retarded. We probably do not have the equipment for this, do we? No, we really do not. That's real sad. But at least up to 10 width we can expand. There we go. Does Qing and Japan have a focus tree? No, sì, ok, lo so che esistono, ma stavo dicendo che ce ne sono relativamente pochi, come immagino tu saprai. I am 23. I probably should not have given away this very sensitive personal information. Anyway, yeah, the Qing do have a focus tree that's really good. It's not really good, but it's on the way there. And Japan has a probably pretty good focus tree, although the problem is, since it doesn't have the... doesn't have icons or like localization, it's relatively difficult to understand what's going on at a glance. Although, you know, yeah, it's there. What's really good is the Korean tree. The Korean tree is +1, man. Yeah, I know I don't sound 23. I sound like 17 at best. I don't know, it's just me though. It's not all Italians. But yeah, like, where does Rus come from? Well, nobody bloody knows. Although the biggest guess that some people have is that it means Swedish. Because apparently Ros means rower in like some old weird language in Scandinavia. And so apparently, since the rowers were, you know, people coming from across the Baltic, aka the Vikings, the Swedes, who supposedly took over Russia. Again, there's very controversial theories floating about. You know, the Norman origin theory, where apparently, you know, the semi-mythical founder of Russia, Rurik, he was a Swede or a Viking. And in fact, it does sound like a pretty German name. And the primary chronicle, which is the main historical document for everything Russian before like the 1200s, it says, after a very convoluted explanation, that the Swedes conquered, or sorry, not the Swedes, but like the Variags, as they call them, aka the Vikings, conquered the Rus. I don't know, it's just very, very complicated. What's your credit card number? It is, well, 1488. Is your family religious? No. Is Italy that religious? Yes. Well, it's not like, okay, that's an interesting question, because the church is very powerful in Italy. And while in some parts of Italy at least, and I'm mainly talking about hello? You just let me do this? What the what? Oh, I hate Hearts of Iron 4. What do you mean? Okay, the whole game bugged. The front line. What the fuck is going on, Hearts of Iron 4? Anyway, I'm about to end the stream anyway, but like, could you take a look at the Balkan States? There aren't that many Balkan States. Yeah, you can have a Christian Korea. Adopting Western philosophy is a thing that you can do. You can also harmonize East-Western learning, or you can adapt Eastern learning. Donghak, which is a thing that's absolutely obscure, but it's a thing I absolutely love about history. The Donghak rebellion in Korea, it's just mind-blowing. But yeah, like, yeah, as Jira said, 90% of Italy is Catholic, but there's only a relatively low amount of practitioners. However, However, even those that aren't practitioners, if they're Catholic, they're very much influenced by at least the Catholic social teachings. And oh boy, here we are. Oh, what? Aw. Aw, it's bugged. There's no Lincoln. My boy. The Christian Korean commune. That's more funny than it should be. Especially coming from Dung Chairman, you know? Anyway, the Catholic social teachings are much more influential than the actual Catholic religion itself. And no, Spain is not a very secular state. Like, Spain is, in Spain, the Catholic Church is pretty much just as important as in Italy, if not more. Probably even more, in fact. Just because Spain is a little bit more, quote-unquote, backward. Is the cross of the Italian flag the cross of Piedmont? It's the cross of the Savoys. It's the cross of Savoy, actually. This thing in the middle is the shield of the Royal House of Savoy. Woodstock hates Hearts of Iron 4 blasphemy. Yeah, Lincoln won't arrive soon. Oh, okay, that's good to know, because I do like my Lincoln. Yeah, I cannot assign any front lines. Well. Oh, okay, right, because you're using that. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. That's actually very cool. Because, the inauguration obviously is in January and not in November. November is just the elections. Great. That's good to know. So we're going to play until Lincoln's inaugurated and then leave. Because I'm about to have dinner, and you know how Italians are with that stuff. So what were we talking about? I don't know. I feel like this stream has just been a massive shitstorm of me rambling on about random things instead of actually playing. But in London there was a small Italian community and they had their own church because of World War II they left. Yeah, because with immigrant Italian communities, fascism was relatively popular. Now I'm saying relatively, but because it wasn't that the actual ideology was extremely popular in and of itself, but Mussolini was well seen as a kind of Italian leader in the Italian emigre communities. At least those that were not, those Italian immigrants that weren't heavily left-wing. I come from Poland, so I come from one of the most Catholic countries. Yeah, I know. The time I went to Poland, the man who spoke very good Italian, who was our guide, because it was a school trip, was very quick to point out that, Italians and Polish, quote-unquote, feel connection, or at least the Polish feel connection to Italy, in part because of the whole, how's this man reading comments without alt-tabbing? Blasphemy. Well, I'm using borderless on my Hearts of Iron 4. Huh, inaugurated in March, inauguration wasn't moved to January for some time. What? Huh. I didn't know that. Okay, whatever. Lincoln once asked Garibaldi to command the Union Army during the war. Really? I didn't know that. But yeah, Garibaldi is known in Italy as the hero of the two worlds. Obviously one of them being the New World and one of them being the Old World. The guy was just a baller. Also, you should probably lose Garibaldi after you complete unification as Italy, because, except for one brief stint as the commander of a minor force in the Alps during the 1866 war, I would really love to know why the fuck this is bugged. What the fuck? See, this is not supposed to be the case. This is the reason why everything is going wrong. I'm so fucking angry. Oh well, whenever I reload the game, it's gonna be free. But yeah, except for a very, very brief stint during the 1866 war, where he quite successfully commanded the Alpine Hunters versus the Austrians in the Alps, blah blah blah. Garibaldi essentially was very disillusioned by what happened after the Italian unification. Rightfully so, because one of the ways he got essentially most of southern Italy to revolt against the Bourbons was promising them a whole lot of improvements there to their situation, to their life. Essentially, oh boy, it's time for the American Civil War. Essentially, like, let's get free trade. Yeah, Italy and Poland cite one another in their national anthems, I know. Although, in the Italian one, it is a relatively positive citation. Although, the verse in which that positive citation is also... Oh, wait, what? Oh, I guess they killed the air. Oh, crap. Well, whatever. The verse, the whole, like... part where it's talking about Poland in a positive light is also like insulting Austria a lot, so they removed it from the anthem, at least you know, officially. And yeah, obviously in the Polish anthem there's like, you know, from the Italy to Poland, Marsz Marsz Dabrowski or whatever. So yeah, that's awesome. Neef Star, first Eastern egg. What are you talking about? What if Lincoln was the Duce of Italy? I mean, that would have been great. Lincoln's a good man. One of my favorite historical figures, XD. Oh, here they are! Jefferson Davis and the Confederate States of America. Yes! 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 Man, not really. I'm more for the Union than for the Confederacy. Proclaim the new nation! Oh, wow. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save. And I'm gonna play a Confederate campaign at one point. Il sangue d'Italia, il sangue polacco, beve col cossacco, ma il cor le bruciò. Exactly. I don't know it by heart, but yeah. So, okay, it was insulting the Austrian in the first part of that whole... I don't even know how to say it. Because it's strofa in Italian, but like it's a grouping of verses. Whatever. And first it insults the Austrians and then the Cossacks. Because back then they didn't really know what Hungarians were. That's I think the reason why they're insulting the Cossacks, because yeah, okay, the Italians did kind of fight against the Russians. The Russians did you know, participate in the Italian campaign slightly, but it was mostly the Austrians. And yeah. Ugh. Ugly Confederate flag. Yes! Yeah, I mean, I know, right? The Confederate flag of, like, this kind of Confederate flag. See, the one that we all think is the Confederate flag is actually a post-war. Like, it was the, I think, battle flag for the Army of Virginia, so that's why it became famous. You know, the one of actual Robert E. Lee, but yeah, whatever. So, yeah, I'm gonna actually end the stream now, because despite the fact that there's actually 54 fucking viewers, which is not something that usually happens on my channel, on a stream, that's actually a lot of viewers. Già l'aquila d'Austria le penne ha perdute. Yeah, something like that. Sì, lo so che era a causa della Santa Alleanza, ma, insomma, secondo me, in parte, era anche perché non sapevano cos'erano gli ungheresi, perché non parla dei, insomma, non parla dei tedeschi, nonostante il fatto che anche i tedeschi erano, i prussiani erano parte della Santa Alleanza e comunque della Restaurazione. Comunque, vabbè, a parte quello, I'll be going now, so yeah. I want to thank you all for joining, and Texas is not a part of the South. Yeah, what's up with that? Why is Texas in the Confederacy? It should not be. There was actually a bit of fighting going on in the Western theater over here, so I don't know. Hurrah for the bonnie blue flag! The bear is the singer star! Of course. You went to war with the French? No, not yet. The CSA can choose their flag at the beginning of the game, and it looks like the CSA chose the bonnie blue. Oh, that's great. That's actually really great. The Confederate flag is a Somalian bootleg clone. Nah, it's more like a filibustering flag. Oh, and by the way, request to developers before I go. I would really, really love for you to put an option where William Walker can stay in control of Honduras. Or sorry, not Honduras, Nicaragua. Sì, ma entra anche nella testa di Mameli, già, non sono nella testa di Mameli, quindi non lo so. Yeah, like, Nicaragua, William Walker, that's stuff, you know. Anyway, thank you all for joining. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I definitely did. And hope to see you next time, where if I want, I'll continue this. If not, I'll be playing some Kaiserreich. And maybe in the week, I'll have time to play some Strategic Command. But yeah, definitely, regardless of whether or not I can revisit this, I will, you know, post more videos up about End of a New Beginning because, you know, it's a pretty fun mod.